Hello, everyone, and welcome back to ESC Fan TV. It's another week, it's another Junior Eurovision show. We're getting closer and closer to the big week in Gliwice in Poland, and we are all very excited. We only have a couple songs that we haven't discussed yet. Those are the ones that we're going to be talking about today, and we will also be bringing you our top 10s, and maybe some of you will be able to give your top 10s as well. We'll see later on in the show. But it's going to be a great one today. I am very excited, and as always, I'm very excited to have my panel on here. First of all, hello, Aline.
Good evening, Europe, and good morning, Australia. I'm glad to be back.
Yes, it's always great to be back here. Also, someone that we're happy to see back is Elliot. Hello, I hope your internet is better.
Hello, yes, it's all sorted now. Don't worry, that mishap shouldn't happen again, fingers crossed. But I'm back. I hope you missed me.
I'm sure everyone did. And also back, we have Connor. I hope this time the evil banshee won't take away your internet connection.
Oh yeah, I'm delighted to be back, and I can share Elliot's struggle. The internet can be a problem with this.
Yes, it is how it is sometimes. Now, before we get started, there's a couple things that I would just like to say. First of all, I would like to say a massive thank you to everyone who has subscribed to us on YouTube, because we have now passed the 3,000 subscriber mark, which is fantastic. We've grown so much even in this Junior Eurovision period, and we're just so happy to have you all here watching the show, whether you're watching it live, on demand, on any of our services. It's great. But that also means that we're doing some exciting stuff. ESC Fan TV is growing and growing every single day. And something that we're really excited to tell you is that we have officially partnered with StreamYard. Because StreamYard, we've been using the service for a couple months, just trying to test it out. And we found out that this is the perfect home for us here at ESC Fan TV. StreamYard is a service that provides a fantastic little live streaming studio, which is what we're using to connect with our guests all over Europe. So it's really great. It also means that now we've partnered with them, we could do all sorts of stuff, like a little bit more of fun graphics and all. And we are also able to stream on multiple platforms. So now you can catch ESC Fan TV wherever you go, whether that be on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitter via Periscope. Of course, you can also listen to us on all the ways you've been able to do before, right here on YouTube, or listen to us through iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher, if you prefer it in the podcast form. That was a lot of information. Let's get on with the show. So we have a couple songs that we have not actually been able to talk about on the show yet, so I thought it would be best to start off with those. We also have a couple songs that we haven't talked about after their revamp, but we will get to those later. So let us start out with Italy. Italy is a fairly new country to the Junior Eurovision scene. They participated for the first time in 2014, in which they won. Vincenzo Cantiello was the first winner from Italy, and they've been doing all right since. I'm sure they are looking for another win very, very soon. This year they are sending Mata Viola and the song, which in English means the voice of the earth. Connor, what do you think of this song from Italy?
I love it. I think it's very powerful, but at the same time, it matches the Junior Eurovision theme. Like that is, it's a very cute child singing a very cute song, and I mean, she can sing it very well. I don't know if you've seen the videos that are up on the official Junior Eurovision channel, but her voice is perfect. Like,
yes, it's definitely very much more in the line of one of these more kid-friendly songs. It's also another one of those, as far as I believe at least, another one of those environmentally friendly songs. Aline, is this a song that you like?
This kind of song reminds me of the early days of Junior Eurovision, when there were a lot of cute kids who sing songs. And so I'm not the biggest fan of the song, but the way she sings it, and it's a cute girl, and she's very young. It feels honest, because I don't think she will fake emotions while being so young. So I think that's an advantage for her that she's so young. So she will grab some cute votes. I think Italian is a very favorable language for many of us. Everyone likes Italian, so that's also an advantage. But when I listen to the recap of the songs, the song doesn't stand out for me as much as it should. I just see it fading away in the sea of other climate songs. I just think there are better songs in the same theme. So yeah, but I hope for like a mid-mode result. Don't be too harsh for this cute kid.
Fair enough. I mean, when you talk about mid-table, it's somewhere along those lines where Italy has been before. Obviously, they've had a first place 2014, they've had a third place in 2016, and 2 times they've been outside of the top 10, those being in 2015 and 2017. Last year, they came 7th. So, I mean, they are a pretty, I would say, one of the popular countries in this contest, having only participated these few times. Elliot, do you think this is another song that could potentially do really well for Italy?
Honestly, no, because I know Aline said the Italian language is almost like an advantage to everyone who likes it. I don't. I've never clicked with Italy, whether it's in junior or adult Eurovision. It's the one country I can't seem to get on board with ever, and this is she's cute. The song's lovely, but all I can remember about it off the top of my head now is the part where it just says Sempre about 3 or 4 times as the sort of like
Sempre.
Exactly. And even then, like I said it wrong, so it says it all. Cute kid. I'm sure she'll, be in like a greenhouse or something with like the effects of the lights and everything, because like she's in like some sort of garden in the music video from what I remember vaguely. But I just think the song is just too low energy, for lack of the better words. Yeah. This is when I wish that producers didn't like set out a running order, because I feel like something like France or Armenia will immediately follow this to just make it forgotten, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair enough. For me, the Italian song, I feel like it's one of those songs where I like it, but it was only after a few listens that I really started to appreciate this song, and it actually got pretty far in my top. And like we've talked about plenty of times on this show, songs that are growers typically don't do very well. And I feel like this could be very much the same. And I agree with what Elliot said, is that this song can easily be forgotten, because while it is a nice song, there are some strong songs that will, without a doubt, steal the spotlight this year. There are no doubt about that. And I feel like, even last year, when they came 7th, I feel like that was it's still a good result, but maybe not the best result. And I mean, Shelgo from 2017, which was one of those that was pretty hyped up before the final, only ended up 11th. So I feel like a lot of these songs that Italy have sent that have been quite non-offensive are usually the kind of songs that just kind of get forgotten, which is a shame. I do want to hold on to Italy a little bit, because I do have a question for the panel. So Italy is one of the countries that chooses internally. And, for the past couple of years, it's been very much that they've just kind of sent their singer and song out there without really looking, without going too much into it. There is a little bit more of branding being done by Rai, the broadcast in Italy this year, but usually they are kind of quiet about this contest. So I just want to go around the panel, starting with Aline. I just want to know, like, what do we think works best, and what's like the best way to select an artist? Is it through a national final with a singer and song, a national final with a singer only, or with just an internal selection? Aline, you first.
I think it depends on the country itself. I think it depends on how famous Junior Eurovision is in that country. For example, the Netherlands, it's very, very famous there. They take it very seriously, and that's visible in their shows. Italy takes Eurovision very seriously, thanks to Sanremo. Will it work the same for children? I don't know. I don't know how famous Junior Eurovision is in Italy, and their entries they've selected so far, sometimes they work because, for example, last year's entry, I think I remember that the studio version wasn't that popular, but when it was on stage, it really came alive, and people fell in love with it, and that's why I think it received a very surprisingly good result, 7th place. I wouldn't have expected them to come 7th, but they did, and I was like, well, that's actually deserved because live it was very good. So maybe they should maybe do a live show to see how it comes alive on stage more, and choose based on that. I don't know.
Maybe. Elliot, what do you think works best?
Well, it's a real tough one because even if we just look at Eurovision, we've had countries try all of these formats with completely polarizing results. I mean, we've had Israel do a national final just to find their singer and then a song that goes with them, and that seems to have worked. We've had Finland try a artist-only national final the last 2 years, and that hasn't worked really. The UK have done like a big national final the last 4 years, and it hasn't worked. So it really does depend, regardless of how you select your song and entry, the promotion and the intentions behind the broadcaster. So if they're not going to put the money and time to promote it in their own nation, they're not going to, get people interested, which won't turn to viewing figures. And especially this year where, with the online vote, you can vote for your own country. The nation should be pushing harder and harder for promotion for Junior because you're allowed to support your own act. So it really does, at the end of the day, I think, regardless of how you pick your entry, have some sort of lead up to the announcement, whether it's a national final or an internal selection. And then once you have your singer, push the song, even if it's just like in the background of ads, whether it's just a music video they just put on the channel, somewhere they just need something where it just becomes in their head. And yeah, I think that's it. Really, it comes down to the broadcaster's intentions and how seriously they want to do it, or they just want to go, look, we're doing this thing.
That's a good point. There's a lot to do with promotion. Even in Eurovision, we've seen more over the years, especially like this year and last year, we've seen artists, paying for sponsored ads on both Instagram and Facebook to try and get their song out there. And I think we'll see more and more of that in the coming years. Connor, what's your view?
I think the perfect way to select an artist specifically for Junior Eurovision would be to internally select a singer or group, whatever, and then have a nationals final for the song, because I don't think it's good for children to have to participate in a national selection, because there's always that like sense you might lose, you might be embarrassed in front of your country. Like, it's different in the actual show because you're participating against lots, like 18, 19 countries. But I think the broadcaster should pick the artist so there is no ill kind of feelings on the night and all that.
Very, very interesting points here. I think for me, I've always kind of liked the idea of like a singer national final, but that's just from the perspective of that it gives the broadcaster the possibility to really, make the perfect song for the singer. I think it's probably just because I'm a nostalgic person in this case, but I think also just like, especially for Junior, that it's probably the version of a national final with both an artist and a song that works best, just because it's what we've always had in Denmark. I've basically never known anything else, both when it comes to Junior, but also the adult Eurovision. But I think there are points for all of them, and I think Elliot has a really good point when it comes to promotion and how that really plays into it now with especially this online vote. Because I mean, on one hand, we have countries like Italy that doesn't really do that much to promote their song, but on a completely other end, we have someone like Vicky from Poland who is signed to Universal, so her music video gets played on like the popular radio stations, the popular music stations all over Poland, and obviously that's going to bring an audience to the song that it wouldn't otherwise have. And these people, they maybe find her interesting, go on her Instagram, follow her, see, oh, I can vote for her in this contest, and they will go vote for her, maybe regardless of if they know the contest or not. So I think that will play a big role in this year, and I'm very excited to see I don't know if excited is the word, but I'm very interested to see at least how many points Poland will score from this very interesting, collaboration and this like very much push forward that Vicky has been getting. But that is a talk for another show. Let's move on to one of our other songs. We are going to a country now that's actually, they've done fairly well at Junior Eurovision. I am, of course, talking about Georgia, the country with the most wins at the contest. They have won 3 times so far, once in 2008 with Bzz, the second time in 2011. The second time in 2011 with Candy Music, and the third time in 2016 with the song Seo. Now, this year they were actually the first country to choose their participant. They did that through their artist-only national final, which ended at the end of May. So we've known that Grigori will be representing Georgia, and we've known that for quite a while. His song was released a few weeks ago, and it is called We Need Love. Aline, do you love this song?
I do, and I think I'm not among the majority who likes it. I mean, I think there is a diversity of opinions of this song, because it's slightly different from another basic kids song, but I like the way that Georgia often sends different songs. They are very creative, and it seems like they put a lot of effort in their entries every year. This might maybe not be considered as one of their most powerful and best entries ever, but I personally find it a very nice and catchy song, and it's also slightly different from the bombastic pop songs we have in this contest. So I think it's an ideal change, and it's diverse. It brings a diversity into the music styles we have this year. So that's pretty good, I think, for me.
Yes, interesting. So I think I'm gonna go to Elliot now. Elliot, Georgia, like I said, is a country that's done pretty well here at Junior Eurovision. They seem like they have the right winner formula. Do you think that, and we've seen them, score high with the juries the past couple of years as well. Do you think that this is another jury pleaser?
I've got a strange feeling it might be. I have no idea why. I have nothing to base that on other than just track record seems to suit that. I personally not a fan of this song. I think it is too bizarre. It shifts and changes, and it's just from a weird rich retro era which doesn't seem to fit in with Gregoria, with the contest, or just anywhere within the show. But that alone may make it stand out, and it may make it do well. I mean, if we look at Georgia's victories, they have been very out there, very different songs for good or bad reasons. I mean, you had 3 kids singing in whatever language you could call that, go on and win. You had, Mariam sing a show tune to close the show, which I wasn't a big fan of, and she went on to win. So maybe my dislike of it means it will do well. I mean, the closest I can remember to it is it's kind of, maybe slightly, similar to their 2017 entry, which I was not a fan of at all. Did not like that. And that still won the jury, I believe, in 2017.
I believe so as well.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just basically take what I think of the song and reverse its results, because Georgia always seems to do the opposite of whether I like the song or not. Because I liked last year's entry, I thought that deserved to win and do very well, and it's kind of petered out in the middle in the end. So it's very unique. It will definitely stand out. But I just think it's going to be quite a confusing 3 minutes, and I'm very intrigued to see what they're going to do to make that on stage, because it's all sort of like faded sepia tone as well with the music video, and all them. They all sort of like squares, and it's all a slight weird retro 50s feel to it, which I don't understand still.
Fair enough. Now, Elliot has already touched on this topic a little bit, but I'm going to go to this one for Connor. So Georgia has done some very creative songs in the past couple of years. They are known for being one of the big risk takers at Junior Eurovision. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But do you think it's nice that Georgia is sending something original and something different than everyone else?
It's my. I'll just be honest before I say anything. It's my favorite by quite a mile of this year's competition. I love the retro vibes. I just love the quirkiness in general. I think he has a great voice. The video's awesome, and well, whether or not the risk will pay off, I'm not sure. That's a good question because usually when I give the kiss of death if I like a song, but but I know it could work, but I think it could be a mid-table finish.
It definitely could. I think I'm somewhere there as well. I think a mid-table finish is very much possible. It's one of those again that it's not a bad song, but it's not a song that really stands out for me. And when you listen to the songs back to back, this isn't one of the songs that you really think too much about. I think it could do well with the juries, but then again, we have so many like big vocals this year that, in that sense, I don't think Georgia will stand out that much this year. Because I mean, last year we had a lot of big voices as well, but last year was just like she was so pitch perfect throughout the whole song that there was no doubt the juries were gonna score that one high. I haven't seen much of his performances, so I don't know if it's the same here. But I feel like this song isn't as polished, and it isn't as, in such a high register as we've seen with Georgia sometimes, and that just makes me think that this is probably not the year that they are in it to win it. But that's just my opinion. Now we're gonna go to some of the countries that we've already talked about, but we haven't talked about their full version. So I'm gonna start off by going to Wales, because we have talked about Wales quite a bit here on the show. Actually, we've followed their national selection, which I still cannot pronounce, and we have talked about Erin's victory right after she won the contest. However, we haven't talked about the full studio version and music video that has been released. So I'm gonna go straight over to Aline. Now, what do you think of this new version of the Welsh song?
I think it's a very happy song. So it's very likable, but sometimes it feels like it's maybe a bit too happy, which makes me like it but not love it. I think the singer's voice is very beautiful, but somehow the studio version is kind of too happy. It's maybe forced happy, so I don't become as happy as I should be. Does this make sense? I don't know. But
I think I get what you mean.
Yes, but the video clip is very nice, very colorful, and I hope they will use as many colors on stage, but because I loved it.
Yes. Connor, this song from Wales takes a lot of elements from their own culture, and obviously the Irish song does that as well. But there are two very different songs. What do you think that Wales does well with their song?
As Aline said, it has a very upbeat, happy feel to it, which is always good in Junior Eurovision. I'm glad it's not like, I mean, our Irish entries have actually been somewhat depressing. Besides, this year is quite nice, but I think for Junior Eurovision you should have a upbeat song, and Wales have done this, and last year was quite nice too, just mellow sort of, but in a good way. I think it'll work out well. And just to note, I think Erin, the singer, looks quite a bit older than the other artists this year. Whether or not that would be good or bad in the actual final, I don't know, but who knows?
Enough. As far as I'm aware, she's 13. And I think we have some of the artists this year being 14, so I don't think she's the oldest. I don't remember who's the oldest one. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me that.
This must be the Celtic vibes.
Maybe it is. Now, Elliot, Wales is one of the new countries in Junior Eurovision. In fact, they are a very new country in the whole Eurovision family. They haven't participated in many events so far. What would you say? Like, is Wales on the right path with this song, or do you think there are still a few things they need to work out before they can really be a contender in this contest?
See, that's quite tough. I do think they're heading in the right direction somewhat. You can see they obviously took what happened last year and, with the selection and everything, and it seemed a lot more polished and they seemed a lot more certain what they were doing. And, the revamp is a proper revamp, like it has completely shifted. That being said, it does give me massive vibes of what Suri's song sounded like before her revamp, with the very, very prominent strings and violins in there. I am not sure if that has worked personally. It also reminds me of what they did with Hovey's song, where it went from this sort of pop rock indie song to something very generic and ballady. I wouldn't call this song generic by any stretch of imagination, but because of that looping violin hook, it does sound very repetitive now, more so than the original. And it just, because her voice is fantastic, and the chorus, it really does build and build and build. And in the original, it went somewhere in that chorus, and now it doesn't. And I just feel like it's taken some of the power out of her and the song as a whole. I don't think it's coming last, though. I don't think they're going to come last. That's an improvement on last year. We can at least say that. Yeah, I think, again, they're just experimenting this year with Erin, and, great mature voice. I do really like the music video. I just think something is now lacking from the new version. I don't know. I just would have liked it if there's more like electronic strings to go underneath it, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I'm gonna say a lot of what Elliot has already said. I think that the song, when I first heard this song in the national selection, I was sure that this was going to be a very nice song. And I was very excited for this because I thought it really had that potential to be like this kind of cool rock vibe song. And I was very excited to see where it was gonna go. However, after the revamp came out, I was almost sad because I feel like this song now sounds like even more like a demo than it did when it was sung in the national selection. It builds up to something that never goes anywhere, and I can understand why they would like to have these elements of their own culture in there, and I really like that they're doing that. But it just ends up in a situation where it feels like it's almost more important for them to show off their culture than it is to actually, send something good. And while that may be the case, it's just a bit sad because the singer is definitely there. She has a great voice. She could do something that was way better than this. And I feel like to some extent, the broadcaster has kind of let her down by doing this version of the song. And I think someone mentioned it in our chat, that the revamp they had last year was great, and I completely agree. Last year they really took in what everyone was saying and really, turned the song around and really made it something that was really, really nice and really cute, and this like big musical theater song. Whereas this year, I feel like they didn't. It's hard to say because I don't know how like they've done this, and I think I've even seen some people that have talked about how this could potentially have been the original version, that there hasn't actually been a revamp, that this was just the version that they had done and they couldn't do it live. There is a possibility to that, but I just think that what they did last year, where they were really listening to the public, I think they should have done that this year as well, because they could have sent something that could really challenge the scoreboard if they had kept it more this rocky vibe. I also want to say, before we move on, I want to say thank you to JP Nordica, who mentioned that the boy from Australia is the oldest, as he is almost 15. So thank you for that. I mean, that sounds about right. He looks like an adult to me. Like, I'm very excited to see him in Gliwice, because I have a feeling he's going to be just as tall as me. Like, he looks tall. So I'm just...
Yeah.
It'll be interesting, because it's always fun, interviewing kids. You're always in that awkward position. Do you squat down so you're their height, or do you just like stand up? With him, I feel like it's not going to be an issue. So that's always nice. Well, would you look at that? We only have one more song left to review. Now we are going to go to Ukraine. Ukraine was the first song that was released of this year's show, but it took them quite a while before they released their final version of the song. I don't think we have officially talked about the song on the show here. I think we only have up on our YouTube channel, we have the review that Elliot did way back when it was released. So therefore, I'm gonna start with you, Elliot. So obviously, Sofia Ivanko is the singer, and the song is now called "The Spirit of Music." you've already shared your thoughts about the songs. I just want to hear, like, do you think that this revamp improved upon the things that you were kind of talking about in your review?
Yeah, I think it's done it fantastically. Like, the main thing I picked out is that as good as her voice was, apart from the almost like whistling chorus, nothing massively stood out about this. This now does really stand out. There's a lot more production in it. There's a lot more power. There's more piano involved. Her voice is stronger. It just feels more rounded out and more like a finished version of the song, which is fantastic. And she's now singing in part in English, so the message translates a heck of a lot more. Yeah, I really like it. I feel like we see Sophia as an artist and as a person and a personality a lot more in this new version, even in the music video, which is great. And also, just a side note in the music video, it was nice to see Darina just make a little cameo in it, just to go scooting past, and that was really sweet as well. So yeah, I think if they stage it like her, with just like in the black jacket with the bowler hat at the piano, this could do really well. Now, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, interesting. I think also a little side note, nothing has been confirmed, but I do think there's a possibility that Darina will be the spokesperson for Ukraine, because I've noticed on her Instagram page that it says that she's going to be doing like some sort of event in Krakow the day after. So something tells me she will be in Poland for the show. I don't know. It's all speculations, but it would make sense if it was. Now, Aline, do you think this song, because in the beginning, a lot of people were saying, oh, this was a bad choice, but I've seen a lot of people, turning that around, saying this is actually interesting. So do you think that Ukraine actually has the possibility to win?
To be honest, I've been loving this song since the very first second. It's a very sweet and lovely song. It kind of gives me the vibes I received when I first heard the song of Slovenia in the adult Eurovision this year. Sebi was kind of dreamy and almost hypnotizing, and I have the same feeling with this song from Ukraine. The video clip is also my favorite of the year, because somehow I have a soft spot for video clips being made in cities, and it just shows the beauty of Kiev. I'm obsessed with like European capitals, and it just makes me want to visit Kiev. I think it's with Kiev. I hope I'm not wrong.
I don't know.
Yes.
I've never been there, so I don't know. But
I
maybe.
hope it's Kiev. But it's a very beautiful city, and apart from that city, of course, it's a very beautiful song. And maybe it's again not one of the songs everyone likes, just like Georgia. But I personally really love it, and I hope and expect that she sings very well. So if everything gets together, I hope she receives the result she deserves.
Let's cross our fingers. And now, like you've said, this is a bit of a different song. Again, this is one of those songs that stands out when you listen to it. Connor, does this song do it for you?
It does indeed. I love the sophisticated vibes I get from the song, which is great in Junior Eurovision, because it's a profession. It can show that the kids can be professional too. It's not all dancing, and they can really get into the music. And I was thinking like that. I preferred actually the first version. Don't even ask, but I love the revamp too. I miss I think was the first version was like the that sound. I thought that was really cool and original. I think they've kind of toned it down in the revamp, if I'm not wrong.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and on a side note, I hope Darina is at this year's contest, because she's like the cutest thing ever. Oh my god, with her megaphone. Oh my god, that's so cute.
If I see her, I'll get an autograph for you.
Oh yeah, please send it.
Will do. See, Ukraine. I was one of the people being very skeptical about the song when it was first released. I felt like there was way better songs in the selection. I felt like this was a weird choice, but you know what? I have changed my mind. I think that the Ukrainian broadcaster saw something in this song, and they realized, okay, this can really be turned into like this really beautiful and different indie vibe song. I agree with Aline. This has the same kind of emotions as Sebi had. This is the kind of song that really, it feels authentic. It feels like this was a song that Sophia really wants to sing, and I think that's really great. If she can pull it off vocally, I think there is a lot of like great possibility for this song. I think this will be a song that the juries will like. I think, one person commented on our YouTube page that the kid voters might not get this one, and I will agree to a certain point there that this could maybe be a bit too out there for something that the average kid would like. But I mean, I've seen a lot of love for Ukraine. Ukraine have a lot of great neighbors who I'm sure are not afraid to vote for them. So it's going to be interesting to see. At least this girl has tried 3 times, I believe, to get on the Junior Eurovision stage. She's done different shows all over Ukraine. I think she's ready for a contest like this, and I feel like Ukraine is usually really good when it comes to staging. I feel like they haven't done that many screw ups when it comes to the staging. So I've decided to stay positive and say that this song could really go somewhere, and I think it has a potential. I don't think I have it in my top 10, but it's up there, that's for sure. But you know what? Speaking of that, let us actually, unless someone has something else they want to add about Ukraine or any of the songs we've discussed so far.
I mean, all I was going to say is that you're saying Ukraine haven't really botched their stagings, but I still, for life of me, don't know why Anastasia was singing in a tree in 2017. Like, why was she in a tree?
No, but that was cute.
Didn't make sense though. It was a lovely tree, and it was a lovely choice of colors they used for the lighting. But the whole time I was like, why is she in a tree?
It was cute. That's why.
Yeah, I get it, but I will say that the only reason I think why I love that tree is because I want to meet that one show producer who looked at the running order and was like, "We're gonna put the tree staging right after Don't Touch My Tree." Like,
oh, that was brilliant.
I feel like that was great. It was
one of the great moments.
I will say my friend was out there, and obviously when they went back along the back way where the press room was, something like that, they saw the big tree before the rehearsals, and they all thought it was they imagined it was for Albania. It's like, well, there's a tree there, don't touch my tree. And then when Ukraine had it, they all just kind of went, but why? like a press room of about 45 people all thought Albania was going to have a giant tree on there because their song was called Don't Touch My Tree, and they were pretty surprised when it was Ukraine.
Oh, well, maybe someone made a mistake. Who knows?
They just went with it then.
They went with it. It's all good. There were a lot of props that year, weren't there? I feel like 2017 there were a lot of props. It's one of those things that I personally really love, is that when it isn't all just focused on the big LEDs in the background, that they actually bring some props on stage. And I think that's why I said that I really like Ukraine staging, is because they're not afraid to do like these staging. I will say, however, you mentioned the tree. There was also that time that Anna Trinchia came out of the flower in 2015. That was also like, that was cool. Watching that whole thing, I was just like, what are they gonna do if the mechanics just doesn't work and she's just stuck in there? Like, that was all I could think about. We made for quite a show. But yeah, we have now reviewed all 19 competing acts this year, and I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic show. I feel like there are so many interesting songs and so many possibilities this year, and we've talked so many times about songs that are potential winners and potential top 5s. But how about we actually share what we think? I want to know from all the guests we have on the panel today, who they would give their points to. So I'm thinking we're gonna do it in the typical Eurovision style, in the 1 to 12 points. That is also what we did back in April, I believe, in the build up to the Eurovision in Tel Aviv. So I think I'm going to start with Elliot. Do you have your points ready?
I do. I'm not going to translate them into French though, like we did in April. Like once is enough for that. So, and plus, I don't know. I don't fully know how to say all these countries in French, so I'm not going to bother or offend anyone. Anyway, moving swiftly on. My 10th place, my 1 point goes to Spain with Mate, because it's kind of grown on me, to be honest. 2 points goes to Albania. 3 is to Ireland. 4 to Armenia. 5 to Malta, 6 to Ukraine, 7 to Serbia, 8 to Poland, 10 to Australia. And my top and my personal winner is France, Carla, Bim Bam Toi, because I wasn't here when we spoke about this, but I think that's an absolutely fantastic polished entry with identity and an electro chorus swing you cannot get out of your head. And if they nail that staging, I think France are going to win.
Interesting. Nice top 10. I was going to originally, I may as well say this, I was originally going to combine all these votes and we would have like the ESC Fan TV winner. I haven't had time this week. Uni is stressful, but how about next time we do a show, we will have combined the votes and I will get some votes from the people who aren't on the show today and we can reveal it there. Does that sound good?
Cool. Be great.
Nice. Connor, do you have your top 10 ready?
You see, I'm very lazy, so I don't actually have the top 10, but I can tell you, like, I think a top 5. So, no, I don't have my top 10, but 5 is great too. Well, I know Georgia. Georgia's my favorite. Then Australia is second. Kazakhstan is third. And then I think it can alternate between, I think, is it Ukraine and, oh, I love that song as well. What is the, it don't come to me now, but France. I love France too. Bim Bam Boom. Is that what it? No, Bim Bam Toi, is it? I rather Boom.
Bim Bam Boom, but yeah.
Boom. Sounds
Boom.
better. Rolls off the tongue.
It does. I'm sure someone's gonna call it that. It's one of those songs where it's like it's so easy to just call it something different.
Bim Bam Boom.
Bim Bam Boom. I'm not gonna. I can't. If you want to sing it, you can go ahead and do it. No, I'm not fluent in any of the languages competing. I mean, except for English, of course. So I'm not gonna try to sing any of the songs. Only when people aren't here to listen to me. I want to say to everyone watching, if you do have
Kazakhstan. Love it. I love Kazakhstan too. Did I mention that? Oh my god, I love it.
I don't know. We'll get your full scores for next time, and we can look at it there. I want to say to everyone watching, if you do have like your top 3 or your top 10 you want to share, or just your winner, like let us know, and I will read it out. So Aline, do you have your points ready?
Yes, I have. And since France is my neighbor country, and since we speak French in Belgium as well, I will take the task to do both French and English. So here we go. 1 point goes to North Macedonia. Un point pour Macédoine du Nord. 2 points to Georgia. 2 points pour Géorgie. 3 points to Serbia. 3 points pour la Serbie. 4 points to Malta. 4 points pour Malte. 5 points pour les Pays-Bas. 5 points for the Netherlands. 6 points pour Kazakhstan. 6 points to Kazakhstan. 7 points to France. 7 points pour la France. 8 points to Ukraine. 8 points pour l'Ukraine. 10 points to Poland. 10 points pour la Pologne. Et enfin, les 12 points pour l'Arménie. 12 points to Armenia.
Beautiful. Is that really how you say Kazakhstan in French?
I just looked it up and I heard it on Google Translate, so I hope I'm correct.
Yes, it's true.
Fair enough, because I feel like that would be like, that's the question on everyone's minds. Like, once Kazakhstan finally joins Eurovision, how's it going to be pronounced in in French? So thank you for clearing that up for us all. That's great. Well, I guess it's my turn. Oh no! I hope I don't have any controversial songs in my top. I think one of the songs I know is a little bit, not in tune with the rest of the panel, but we'll see. So, 1 point goes to Armenia. My 2 points goes to Italy. My 3 points goes to Australia. My 4 points goes to North Macedonia. My 5 points goes to Serbia. Was that correct? I feel like I did something wrong there, didn't I? No.
Let's go with it.
That sounds good.
It's fine.
It's because I didn't write it down correctly. So What did I get to? Sorry, can I just? Oh, I remember
It's
this
like
was
a
our
real
issue.
Eurovision voting.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
accurate.
there's connection issues. Connection issues. Oh, look at that. We're coming back to me with the scores.
Don't change it.
No, I won't. I promise.
1964.
I'm well, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that Denmark's first victory was completely valid. You are all wrong.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, I'm gonna try this again from the beginning. This gives me war flashbacks to when we did this in the Eurovision shows. Okay, so 1 point to Armenia, 2 points to Italy, 3 points to Australia, 4 points to North Macedonia, 5 points to Serbia, 6 points to Ireland, 7 points to France, 8 points to Albania, 10 points to Poland, and finally 12 points to Spain. Woo! That worked a lot better this time. So, what I can just quickly gather from memory here is that it seems like there's a lot of love for especially France on this panel. Obviously, France being one of the big favorites last year, and they are shaping up to be one of the big favorites this year as well. I just want to quickly go around now because we've shared our top 10s here, but I just quickly want to go around because these things can be a little bit different. I'm going to start with Aline. Who do you think will be the winner this year?
Oh, that's a very hard question because I've been asking myself this as well. Because it's a very open race. There are many favorites, and to be honest, I would really want France to win because it's been so long since they won Eurovision and they've never won Junior Eurovision while doing such a big effort all the time. So I would really want them to win. Yeah, France has a good chance because they've done well last year as well. They came second, and France is a big country, so when they know they can vote for themselves, it might help them a bit.
Maybe. Elliot, who do you think can be the winner this year?
See, this is really difficult because I must admit, the last 2 years since this online voting has come in, it's been really hard to predict. And the countries that have ended up winning, I didn't see winning personally. I mean, at the minute, like I said, I am struggling to see past France winning purely because it's very polished. It's a very good entry. They came very close last year, but they've taken what worked last year, which is something catchy, memorable, and they've just polished it and just sent a brilliant singer in Carla, who we have seen can perform and sing. It just comes down to the staging of that performance, and I think they will get it right. Hopefully they'll make it bright and colourful like their music video. And yeah, I just think it does stand alone in its electro swing Charleston-esque manner. I know a lot of people are saying Spain, but I just think it's too similar to a few of the other songs. For example, Serbia, Italy, Kazakhstan with the big voice. I don't see who France's direct competition is, to be exact, like in that sort of musical genre. And it is a sort of song and style you love or you hate. And as I said countless times, to win Eurovision or Junior Eurovision, you need a polarizing song from the very start. You need a song people love and hate immediately. You don't need to. You don't need to impress everyone, just enough people. And I think France does that. So if I had to pick someone, I would say France.
Fair enough. Connor, what about you?
There is a big contrast between who I want to win and who I think will win. Obviously, I want Georgia to win because, y'all need love, okay? And if I think will win, I actually would say Spain because it's a good song and Spanish public would definitely online vote for the song, which helps in a similar vein to Poland last year. Like, they're good songs, so I wouldn't have a problem. And I actually think Australia could too, because his voice is so well. He'll probably win the jury vote. Whether or not he could get the online support is a different question, though.
Fair enough. See, I think for me, I have 3 countries, and I feel like there's a reason for each, so I'm gonna go through them. First of all, I think Spain has the possibility to win. I think that this is, depending on how the jurors will vote this year, I think it could be the kind of song the jurors would be into, and we've obviously, we've seen and heard Spanish fans all over the internet before, and I think they will play a huge part in this. But I mean, you can also turn it around and say that a song like Railton Amara from Ireland, which was also this operatic song, that didn't do well with juries either. So it is a bit hit or miss with these operatic singers, and whether or not this song will do well with the juries, I think in the end will be the big factor in if it can win or not. My second theory, that is Poland, and I've kind of touched on it before in this show. Poland, I mean, it feels like to me that Victoria is getting way more publicity than Roxana was last year, and even she was getting a lot of publicity. So I think that with her being so pushed and with so many Polish people tuning in to the show this year because of it being held there, I think she could go ahead and win. What could make her struggle is the fact that, you know, we saw her in the Polish national final, and she did struggle a bit with this song. If she struggles with it in the final, I feel like this song will be lower down with the juries than some of the other popular songs, and it could just mean that it could miss out by just a few points, simply because of the fact that the juries wouldn't. Because let's say if Spain gets second in the online voting, but they've gotten way more points than Poland has in the jury vote, I think it'll be a factor in them not being able to win. But my third and final, it's a bit of a different reason than what I've heard being mentioned before, but I do think Kazakhstan also has the chance. And the reason I'm saying that is because we have to remember, and I've looked a little bit into this. I've been doing a bit of research trying to figure out what questions I want to ask the contestants in Gliwice. I've actually figured out that Yasan from Kazakhstan, he has a big following in Russia. He's very popular there. He's done a lot of contests there, and he was performing at this big music festival called New Wave Junior, which is a big contest held in Crimea every single year. When he came on that stage, I don't think I've ever heard as loud of a cheer in New Wave Junior ever. And I've seen that show for quite a few years. Like, he is a big deal in Russia. Obviously, he was in The Voice Kids in Russia this year. And I think if it hadn't been for, and I'm not going to go into the whole talk, but there was a case with the winner of The Voice Kids in Russia having her victory annulled because of it was proven that there were bots that had voted for her. It was Alsu's daughter, by the way. That's a whole other story. But I think had that whole bot voting not happened, I think Yasan would have won, because he definitely has the voice and he has the following in Russia. Russia's a big country. If they all get together and vote, I think they could absolutely crush the online voting. So those are my guesses. There are a couple possibilities. I saw someone in the chat saying that, wow, Armenia was so underrated here. I'm actually surprised. I don't think we should really underestimate Armenia. I think it still has the possibility. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it still has the possibility to go top 3? Because I do.
I did when I first heard it. It's actually faded for me. And I like the song. There's something about it now. It just gets forgotten slightly. I don't know why. And I do think a part of it is obviously last week she released her music video, and there's a lot going on in that music video. As simple as it is, there's a lot happening, which makes me think that's what they're going to try and do at Junior. Because if people haven't seen it, she's in her national final dress with behind this white wall with just like effects coming over her, and then she's in like a tracksuit again with effects coming over her, and it just seems very hitting any button on the Switch. And if that's a hint of what they're going to do, and obviously the song is called "Colors of Your Dream," I just think it has so much potential just to look a bit messy. And also at the start of the song, she has that big vocalization riff. If she gets that wrong, even slightly, it's doomed for the next 2.5 minutes. For me, I just think those first 30 seconds are just going to make or break it. It's nice, it's pleasant, but like in the national final, I can see it opening and then it fading. I still think it can get like 6th or 7th, but I don't know. But I do like the song. But for me, something's just not clicking.
It's one of those songs that are really difficult, I feel like, in my opinion, to really judge on here, because obviously we've been in this bubble for a couple months at this point, and we've heard this song over and over. We've talked about it. I did a review on it, and I barely even remember what I said in that review. I feel like it's been so long. I think I was still in a t-shirt and shorts when I did that review. Like, it feels like so long, but obviously, people coming in and hearing this for the first time with new ears, I think this is still up there, but yeah, I think one of the things I do remember talking about in my initial review is that if they keep the staging, I just don't think it's powerful enough. And I mean, that's what we saw last year, where I feel like Levin was a bit of a fan favorite in the beginning, but like the staging just wasn't interesting. It was a mess, and they haven't been particularly good at their staging for the past couple of years. We had the hoverboard staging, what was it, a couple of years ago, and that didn't really work either. Connor, I noticed you've just told us that you have to leave, so
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. This is great show. I love this so much. I just have to some serious business, and thank you so much, and have a great evening, all of you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for being on, and I hope we'll see you for the next show.
Of course.
Awesome. Yeah, we are about to wrap up the show, but I do wanna mention a few things before we go, because obviously, Junior Eurovision is getting closer and closer. Oh, before we do that, I just want to quickly mention, because we have had a few top threes come in, so I just want to share those right now. We have JP Nordica, which says that his first place is Ireland, so it's sad that Connor didn't get to see that. His second place is France, and his third place is Poland. Very nice. We have Miriam, who says that her first place is France. A lot of love for France in this show tonight. Her second place is North Macedonia, and her third place is Armenia. And then we have Mia, who, by the way, will be going with me to Poland. She will be my videographer, so that's going to be fun. Her first place is Italy. Her second place is Albania. I'm not sure how much I've influenced her on the whole Albania thing. She won't admit it, but I feel like I may have had something to say there. And her third place is North Macedonia. So those were some of the top threes. We obviously shared our opinions. Junior Eurovision week is getting closer and closer. There's only about a week before I start packing my suitcase so I can get to Gliwice. That also means that I just quickly want to touch on how we are going to be broadcasting the next couple shows. So we will obviously be doing a show after the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony is on the 18th of November. It'll be held in the Silesian Theater in Katowice. So that means it's not in the town where Junior Eurovision will be held, but they are trying to use the whole Silesia region for this contest. It's also all over this region that they've shot the postcards. So they are doing it in Katowice. It's only 30 minutes away from Gliwice, so it's not that far away. Some people may recognize this is, maybe an obscure reference, but some might get it. Some may know Katowice as the esports capital of Poland. At least I've heard somewhere that that's a thing. So who knows? I think they're also going to be holding one of those climate. What are those called? The Cup 20 something. I don't know, but yeah, Katowice it is. So we will be doing a show after that, where we're going to be discussing the opening ceremony, and of course, hopefully by that time we will have the running order. I will be in Gliwice the whole week, being able to give you all the latest news. I will, of course, be updating the YouTube channel with a bunch of interviews and little reviews of the different rehearsals, because obviously the press has access to the second rehearsals on Thursdays and Fridays. We will have a show Saturday evening, right before the big day, where we will be discussing what we are hoping to see and what we are expecting the big show to be. And then we will, of course, have our wrap-up show right after, well, not right after, but a couple hours after the big show on Sunday, the 24th of November. So there we go. that was this week's show. We have wrapped up our reactions, reviews on all the different songs. You can, of course, if there is a song you want to hear an opinion of and you haven't watched all the shows, there are little 2 or 3 minute clips of all our reviews up on the YouTube channels. You can check those out. But for now, I want to say thank you to everyone watching, and thank you to Aline for being on the show.
It was great again.
It was, and thank you to Elliot.
Thank you, and have a great time in Poland, Nicholas.
I sure will. It's going to be great, and I hope that you'll be able to do a little bit of hosting while I am away, because that's going to be a bit difficult, being all over the place.
I will try.
That sounds good. And of course, also we want to say thank you to Connor for being here, and we are hoping to see many more of our ESC Fan TV panelists for the show. I think even Stuart has said that he will be on here for the review show. So that's going to be fun to hear his opinion. I think I've heard somewhere that Kazakhstan is his favorite. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about that song. But for now, thank you for watching this week's show. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.